Now on PM Express tonight, on the show this evening, we are from the NDC headquarters here in Accra, and for obvious reasons, the National Democratic Congress has a major election coming up this Saturday. It is a presidential primary that will decide who leads the NDC into the 2020 election. This is a major event, a logistical challenge in its own right, and preparations have been on for months. There's been challenges on its way, court suits, threats here and there, but obviously the party, in any political party, will have that when you're approaching such a major contest. How is the party dealing with that, and what are preparations towards Saturday, and is everything on course? But also, there is the unfortunate incident that we saw a couple of days back in the Ashanti region, which has led to the death of one person, a member of the party who was buried today, and also left one person injured and in hospital. It has to do, many suggest, about some disagreements, but the police is investigating that. That has become a very controversial subject. 4 people are currently being hunted for by the police, but the party is already cooperating with the police and have indicated that this should be treated as a criminal offense, pure and simple. We'll be getting into that as well. And linked to that is a conversation that the nation is having right now about political vigilantism. Now we are told we should brand it as party militialism, or call party militia members in various political parties. What is the party's own commitment to this national conversation in terms of pulling back from the brink? And we've seen the Ayawaso West Wuogon Presidential Commission of Inquiry, which is ongoing today. Today, the NDC's parliamentary candidate in that controversial elections that became violent and very bloody had appeared before the commission and has testified. And a lot of things have been said. But where are we in terms of the party's own, I guess, relations with the agencies that are trying to get to the bottom of it? The commission on one hand, the police on the other, because we know the party had met them, the police to be very specific, in the aftermath of the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election violence. All these will be discussed on the show tonight, and I have the man who most qualified to do this in terms of our political landscape and our history. His footprint has been all over it in terms of organizing elections, leading the party, and galvanizing a base for action. He is the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo. I'm grateful, sir, for joining us on PM Express. I want to start with the elections, obviously, which comes off on Saturday. How are preparations towards that?
Well, let me say that preparations are far advanced. As I speak with you now, everything is in place for the election to take place on Saturday. At the moment, we are at a point where the EC is taking over from the party elections committee. What I mean by that is the EC, together with the election committee, are at the various printing houses to take delivery of the election materials. And thereafter, we're transporting the election materials today and tomorrow to all the 10 regions. I think they are beginning with the farthest regions, Upper West, Upper East, Northern region, Brown region, and Ashanti region today. And my information is that tomorrow the remaining 5 regions, i.e. Volta, Eastern, Greater Accra, Western, and Central region materials will be dispatched. All things being equal, we expect that by Friday, the materials would have arrived at the various constituency offices under the supervision and security of the various police commands in the districts. And then Saturday morning, these materials will be dispatched to the various constituency designated voting centers that the election will take place. We have embarked on this process together with the aspirants and their representatives. So even at the printing house, the aspirants have their representatives 24 hours, 3-shift system, monitoring and taking down details of the processes that goes on in the printing houses. And then when the materials have been dispatched today, the aspirants have been asked to get their representatives to follow the materials to the various regions to go and take delivery. And then when it is handed over to the region, their representatives at the regions will also be there to take over and then ensure that the materials which are being redistributed to the various constituencies, their agents will also follow it up to the constituencies in order to ensure that there is open, transparent, and fairness in the whole process. So that is what is being done now. This afternoon, our security committee is meeting the Director General of Operations at the police headquarters to sort out last-minute security arrangement, because we have indicated that security for this election has been handed over to the Ghana Police Service, and we have indicated that the party is not deploying any internal security systems on the ground. We have indicated to all the candidates that we don't want a situation where the 7 aspirants, everybody will say that I'm deploying my security. It will create a very chaotic situation. And so, since it's a public election supervised by the Electoral Commission, the Ghana Police Service should take full responsibility of security at all the 276 polling centers. We are doing this mindful of some intelligence that we are also picking up.
Which is?
Which is that some agent provocateurs are being organized to cause disruption in some constituencies. So once we have directed that we are not deploying security, internal party security to the place, then the onus is on the Ghana Police Service to ensure that law and order is maintained and that nothing untoward happens at the 276 polling centers, and also at the final collation center at the Electoral Commission, and then the declaration center at the party headquarters.
Oh, so that is a structure. So the final collation center is at the
strong room of the Electoral Commission. I mean, that is the way they call it, which means that the results will be collated and announced in the 276 polling constituencies, and then dispatched to the regions, and then the Electoral Commission will then forward it from all the regions to their national headquarters. And at the national headquarters here, we have asked the aspirants to bring their representatives
to this particular place.
No, to the EC head office.
Okay.
And then members of our National Election Committee will also be there with the EC at the national headquarters to do the final collation of the results from all the 276 polling centers. Then, having done that, the official declaration will be done at the party headquarters.
So I'm seeing a situation where after the collation and counting is done, then the EC then communicates
through their system
to you.
To the EC head office.
I'm talking about the head office.
Where our reps
are already stationed.
Our National Election Committee members will already be seated there to be receiving the results alongside the EC officers. And then it will be monitored by the agent representatives at that place. So everything will be done in a very open and transparent manner. But when the results is finally collated, then the official announcement and declaration of who the flag bearer elect is will be done at the party headquarters.
That is a fascinating arrangement. But I get the sense, and correct me if I'm wrong, like only doing that because you could have well done a collation here, which is what we thought was going to happen because of past experience with other political parties. That the reason behind this is that you want to have an independent third party EC handle everything so that nobody can accuse Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo of having any influence on any part of that chain. That by the time it gets to you to declare, everybody knows already from the EC headquarters already.
And then by the time the EC leaves their headquarters, our expectation is that the agents of the various parliamentary aspirants would have also signed it to accept.
So the transit from the EC headquarters to here won't change anything.
It's just a coronation, just to come and announce and then introduce who the flag bearer.
Maybe actually, what informed this though? Because this is the first time. Police-wise, you say we don't want to have anything to do with security. Our people don't go close. The candidates, you can't go close as well with your security. By the way, have they agreed to that?
They have. Because
are they committed to? People don't...
Every arrangement now has been mutually agreed
with
them. Because every meeting, the candidate or their representatives are there of our elections committee. And where there are disagreement, we try to build consensus.
But they haven't disagreed on the subject of police taking complete control?
They haven't disagreed. Okay. They all agree that the National Police Service should be in charge.
So if somebody shows up, say, in the name of any of the candidates, the police are empowered to deal with the person according to law?
What we have done is that we have given limited monitoring tax, designated to, I think yesterday it was agreed about 15 will be given to each presidential aspirant, so that at least you can have one person each in a region to do the monitoring.
Go round.
And again, their agents have also been accepted and designated. They have brought list of their agents. Tags are being prepared for them to wear around their neck to indicate that they are the agents of the aspirants. So for every constituency, we will have 7 agents, each representing one of the 7 aspirants, in order to make sure that equal level playing field is created for all of them, and then it is done in a very open and transparent atmosphere. In fact, when the counting is done and they have any challenge and they want to call for a recount, we want to follow the best practices. So the electoral laws of this country, which governs public elections, will be applied, and that is why the Electoral Commission is solely responsible for the supervision of this whole process.
This is a logistical nightmare to pull this off, because you have to fund this. The Electoral Commission is just not helping you.
Actually, we are funding the activities of the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
And so it is not an easy task.
It's a Herculean task.
It's a very Herculean task. But as a party, we are determined to...
I mean, I dare say, you've seen a lot of elections, national elections. But I dare say this is the first time you're seeing a political party election on this scale.
In fact, the last time we even stretched our tentacles more than what we are doing now. You see, that one, we did it in about 8,230-something polling centers. The last flagship election that elected President Mahama, what we did was that we did it in every electoral area, and in some of the electoral areas we even did subdivision, and then we created some other voting centers in peculiar areas like Afram Plains, Salaga North, Sene, and other areas where they have to travel on the lake and others. We did break them down, and so that one was more involving than this, because we use about 8,230-something polling stations, and then the total number of registered voters who were supposed to participate was close to 2 million. This time around, we are targeting about 300,000 delegates, and we are voting in 276 polling centers. So the logistical nightmare that we went through in the last primaries far outweighs this one. Even though during that time we were in government, so managing things were not as difficult as it is now. But nevertheless, I think that our teams that have been put in place by the constituency, regional, and the national level are up to the task, and they have been working around the clock.
The road to this point has been very challenging.
Very challenging.
Very challenging. The candidates themselves have been fighting you.
Very challenging, because I have seen my entry into the chairmanship as a baptism of fire, because I came in and met all these challenges. But thankfully, we are working as a team together with the General Secretary, the Deputy General Secretaries, and the entire National Executive Committee. There is this synergy, there is this unity of purpose, there is this determination to pull through successfully. And so everybody's hands is on deck.
There was a suit, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a suit. And let me also commend our legal team. And the legal team has done extremely well. I mean, just a few minutes ago, or just about an hour ago, we have just sworn in our directors. And we used not to have Director of Legal Affairs. We used to have legal committee notable among them, Madame Betty Modrisu, and then
Abraham
Malaba, and
Dr.
Dawudu, and our former MP for Zebila, Cletus Avoka, and other Tony Lita, the former Attorney General, Madame
Marietta
Appeal Point, and others have all played very, very critical roles in seeing us where we are now. So it's like everybody wants us to succeed, and where their expertise are needed, they have been available.
What has happened to that court suit against you?
No, that has been resolved. Eventually, what we did was to do an out-of-court settlement of the petitioners.
The fundamental issues you wanted addressed has been addressed?
It has been addressed to the mutual satisfaction of all. In fact, after the withdrawal for out-of-court settlement, and then the settlement was placed before the court, and the court granted that, we had a meeting of all the 7 aspirants, closed-door meeting of all the 7 aspirants, to look at the way forward. In fact, in arriving at 23rd February as the date for the primaries itself, was a consensus among the 7 candidates. Ever since, we've decided to pull them along in all our deliberations, in all the roadmap, every step, we bring them closer to it. And so there have been, I mean, the committee has been fought and back, and then, you know, accommodating other suggestions here and there. So mutually, I would say that we have worked together till this time.
What was the issue? Was it the one dealing with the printing of the ballots?
Well, the printing of the ballots was among other several issues that were brought up. And I believe that anytime it is brought up, the committee receives their concern, sit down with them, try to iron it out, and then we resolve the issues.
How have we dealt with the fundamental sense you get looking from outside in, that some of the candidates believe that the process hasn't been a level playing field? At least some of them have said that.
Well, there has been complaints from the field by some of the candidates, and anytime that they call our attention to it, one of the things that we told them is that we've given them unfettered access to the structures of the party, i.e. from the branch to the constituency and to the regional level. And so anytime that they move to any part of the country and they have a challenge, I have had occasions where some flag-bearer aspirants have called and said that we were in this region and we were having some challenges. And immediately we call in and then assist them to clear those hurdles. We have, by and large, shown that as a National Executive Committee members, we want to be neutral umpires in this exercise so that at the end of this whole process, we'll be able to bring everybody on board. In fact, as a national chairman of the party, I do not think that taking sides in this matter will help me at all. And so I have given them assurance, I've had meetings with them, I've been very open and genuinely told them that my interest at the end of the day is party cohesion and unity. So anything that will undermine the party unity, I will not be part of it. And so these are the processes that we've gone through. And for me, I believe up till now, I haven't had any cause at all. In fact, it was during the initial stages that some people raised concerns about some statements that we've made during the campaign. I said, well, this was during the campaign. The campaign is over. I've now been sworn in as the national chairman of the party together with the general secretary and others. And so our paramount interest is the collective. And so every aspirant concerns is my concern. And anytime they bring it on board, we have shown that genuineness and openness to deal with this issue. And for me, that has taken this matter up. We have not left our Council of Elders out of this issue because you know that at any point in time, when there are issues that is raised through the founder, through the Council of Elders, we have had meetings where the founder himself has been part of it together with the Council of Elders to address them. Just now, just about 2 hours ago, we ended a meeting with the Council of Elders in view of the recent happenings and others. We had to brief them and also give them an update on our preparation, the final preparation towards this election. So we've carried every structure of the party on board. We had a National Executive Committee meeting last week where all our regional chairmen, their organizers, women organizers, and all NEC members, together with our representative from Parliament, who are members of NEC, were here with us to deliberate on these matters. So you realize that nobody has been left out. The parliamentary group is on board, the Council of Elders is on board, the National Executive Committee is on board, and of course the Functional Executive Committee, where ideas and decisions generate have been playing their role very effectively.
We've had some specific concerns from some of the candidates, including that when they go to some regions and constituencies, regional chairman, constituency chairman are rooting for one candidate. Particularly the name of John Mahama had come up as people, party agents and leaders in constituency chairman acting on his instructions or acting in his favor and preventing other candidates from having the same access to party structures and the party grassroots base in these constituencies and regions. Is this something that's come to your attention as well?
As far as access is concerned, I think that largely we have created an unfettered access. Anywhere that they have encountered such problems, when our attention has
So it's true that has happened?
There has been, I think, 1 or 2 of these reports, but immediately we acted on it.
But why is that? Why will the party chairman
we
blatantly say that prevents somebody from
We have indicated that you cannot put any of the party structures, you cannot commit any of the party structures to a particular candidate. Individuals have the right to decide where their preferences are. We don't have any problem at all. When you go to Parliament, for instance, there are MPs who have openly identified themselves with other candidates. Some are spokespersons for other candidates and others. That's the beauty of democracy. So we are not against that. But we are saying that do not hinder their access to the structures of the party. And for now, I think that by and large, from all the reports we are getting, and then even on social media and others, you will see that anywhere that the candidate go, they are able to meet their target audience and deliver their message.
Is the system skewed in favor of John Mahama?
I personally do not think that any arrangement has been deliberately put in place to favor any particular candidate. Perhaps, being the former president and having worked with some people, appointees and others, there are people who want to say that this is our former boss and he's going to a contest. We want to support him in one way or the other. Nothing debars them from doing that. But the structures of the party are not being used to the advantage of any particular candidate.
And at the party national head office, I mean, these concerns you say they have been addressed or have been addressed to the satisfaction of all?
Well, at national level, we have been very open and transparent. We have identified ourselves with the process. We've supported the process. I mean, during the Ogun by-election, for instance, when we were doing this health work, we invited all the aspirants. I remember the first one that we held about election and others. Honorable Gbagben was there, Professor Joshua Labi was there, Nuruddin was there, Sir Sylvester Mensah was there, and I think Spirit was. In fact, even we gave them the opportunity to address the gathering. Then later on, His Excellency President Mahama came back from his tour. He managed also to do some rounds in the constituency and visited a few places before going to Volta region. We followed him, we supported him. The last one that we did, for instance, at Jolu, Nuruddin, one of the aspirants, was there, and we gave him the opportunity to address the people. So we have not created a situation where any of them will feel that there's a certain national platform and we are disadvantaging one group or the other from taking advantage of it. We try to create a level playing field for everyone.
Talking about Yawaso, now that you've brought it up, we know that has become the biggest issue in Ghana today, and the tentacles of that is still spreading quite hugely. I still do not quite appreciate why the NDC, and maybe you need to articulate that clearly for me, why the NDC took the position, or is taking the position, that the Presidential Commission of Inquiry is something that you do not necessarily believe is a vehicle to deliver the justice you've asked for. When indeed in the wake of Ayawaso, you had demanded action from the state. I'm not saying from government, from the state. In fact, you demanded action from the government as well, and state institutions. That is a state institution that has been set up right, and yet the NDC says we don't trust that it can deliver us justice. What is the real reason why that is?
First of all, let me start by saying that the happenings in Ayawaso West Wogon was most unfortunate. And having been in this game for a very long time, you know that I'm a product of the grassroots. I have come from the branch through the constituency, through the region, to become a national organizer of the party for 9 years, director of election, vice chairman, before becoming chairman. I've seen it all. I've participated in various elections. I've led the party in very difficult by-elections in Williamsey, in Bimbila, in Offenso South, in Kumbawu, and several other parts of the country. For the first time in my life as a political leader and organizer of a party, I've not witnessed what happened in Ayawaso West Wogon. Because in most cases, what you find out is that there's a fracas between pro-NDC security group and maybe pro-MPP security group.
No, but Talensi, your opponents say they saw security people who were armed, who were beating, who were beating them.
And then the state security agencies will come in when there are altercations to try and separate and make peace. I was in Talensi. There was nothing semblance of what happened in Ayawaso West Wogon in Talensi. There was nothing like that. Even in Talensi.
Sure?
Yes, in Talensi when it happened. You know,
in Talensi where your interior minister said violence begets violence.
It is not correct because you see what happened in Talensi was that the NDC office and the MPP office were just distance apart. And the MPP were here, NDC were. And so it was just movement of people across one boundary which created the
Your
tension.
opponent said they saw security people, state security
you see,
people who were assaulting MPP
If we
individuals.
do not put this matter in proper context and we try to equalize, we'll be making a big mistake because you see, what happened in Ayawaso West Wogon is a fundamental issue that threatens the very fabric of our national security architecture.
Explain.
Yes, because this was the first time that you see security agencies, state security agencies, openly assaulting people. It doesn't happen. In full military or security accoutrement on peace goer and armored vehicles, getting out, manhandling people, beating them up, shooting, and doing all these things in the name of security agencies. And so the revelations that are coming up to the extent that hoodlums and vigilante group members were given security uniform and assault weapons to undertake that exercise.
That has been denied.
You know the reason why I call for a pullout.
Tell me.
It was a strategic reason because when I look at the situation, I went around and I saw the scenes and I asked myself, are we in a war zone? Because this Ayawaso West Wogon is supposed to be one of the elitist constituencies in this country.
But this was in one polling station, by the way.
It is not one polling station. The report that I had simultaneously from Legon campus, from Jowulu and the adjoining community of Jowulu, I think is, and then, of course, Bawaleshi and others, they were coming in droves. The reports that I was getting from our constituency people and our monitors and the polling centers, and then the fact that for the first time in our history, we have gone to election, we have not seen national security operatives at polling stations. 3, 4, 5 of them at the polling stations when people, without any provocations, were being attacked. And let me ask you, I'm a party leader. I've sent my people just to go and participate in the democratic process. Within the first 2 hours, 25 people have been attacked, shot at, wounded. Various degrees of injury has been recorded. I went to Legon Hospital. The blood that was oozing, people who were almost fighting for their lives. And you think that as a party leader, I should encourage our people who were not even holding catapult to go and face people who have been armed to the teeth and are on rampage, attacking, maiming, and then hurting people left, right, and center. I thought that the tactical thing that was to be done was for us to do a tactical withdrawal and let our concentration be on what was happening and not the election. Because for me, winning our, people say that, oh, the way the results came.
You could have won the election.
The way the results came, you could have won the election.
You disagree?
I was not interested in winning the election.
Even if it was possible to
at
win.
the expense of the lives of people.
I see.
Winning a seat at the expense of the life of people. I thought that the party...
But could we have won the elections?
I thought that the party should value human life than any other thing. And so when blood was spilling and people were... You see, and at that point in time, you know that there were even rumors that 2 people had died.
Yes. That turned out to be false.
Yes, but in that situation, do you want more people to die? Because of a seat? So yes, I agree that we could have won, but I thought that the decision that we took was in the best interest of the country.
You don't regret it?
Never.
And there are people in your party who disagree with you?
Today, those who disagree with me, after this commission and the revelations and the footages that they saw, because when I took that decision, people had not seen the enormity and the gravity, the monumental gravity of the assault that was being perpetrated on innocent Ghanaians. Upon reflection, there are a lot of people who even called and attacked me. They called back.
From your party?
Yeah, from my party.
Who disagree with the fact that
well, on the spur of the moment, they disagreed. But I thought that as a leader, you must be firm.
You took your decision, stood by it.
I took the decision, I stood by it.
And you suffered the attacks from within.
There were a lot of pressure on me to reverse, but I decided that this is the decision.
There was pressure to reverse?
Yes, there was a pressure.
Does it mean that you didn't consult before you did it?
No, because you see, on the spur of the moment, you can't consult everybody. But those who matter were consulted.
So who were those who mattered?
I mean, for strategic and security reasons, I will not tell you. But
the General Secretary, obviously.
I thought that I spoke with all those who matter. The General Secretary was far away in the West Indies, attending Socialist International Conference. But we managed to talk to him. And then I managed to explain the situation. Those who matter, really, when it comes to party security matters.
So you stood your ground. And I'm sure that these were powerful people in your party who were very unhappy with you.
Well, as a leader, when we are confronted with a situation, take that decision, stand by the decision, take the flag or the glory, however it may go. And I thought that I was deeply convinced that the number of people that I consulted and the rapidity of the event and the way it was going, the best decision is that what we took. And that decision alone, for me, is becoming the defining moment in our electoral processes.
Why do you say that?
I believe that at the end of this whole process, some reforms will have to be...
What process are you referring to?
I'm talking about the investigative processes and others. And you know, on the day of the election, when we pulled out, we never came and sat down. We came here and addressed our people because there was so much tension. Our youth were massing up. Yeah. They wanted
we watched it on. We were here live.
They wanted us to release them.
In fact, when you told them, when you announced that nothing's going to happen, we're going to go to the EC office and go to IGP. At the press conference, because it was live on my TV network, they were shouting.
Yeah.
And you?
Yeah. They were asking me that I should allow them to go back to the field and fight. Yeah. And I thought that was not a good decision to take, because you cannot take your bare hands to go and fight people who are armed to the teeth.
So you restrained them?
I restrained them under a lot of difficulty. And that is all what leadership is about. Leadership must be brought to bear. Your leadership needs to be brought to bear on situations like this. Because if I had lost control and I've asked them to go, perhaps the narrative would have been different by now.
It's been nearly 3 weeks since Ayawaso. You look back on it. Would you have taken a decision again today, knowing what you know now?
I would have still taken the decision that I took, because I thought that at that point it was the best decision for us as a party and as a country.
You said that those who criticize you in your party in the wake of the commission revelations seem to have come round.
Not even before the commission, but when they saw the footages and they saw what was happening 2 hours into the election. We had also picked intelligence, and sometimes we act on intelligence. So one wouldn't have fathomed what would have happened in the evening when the election results were over and announcements were made and people were to move into collation center to send their results. Perhaps the narrative would have been different because of the intelligence that we picked.
In this conversation, you've mentioned the commission. Clearly, there's something there that I hear you say, that it's been useful so far. If for not for anything, the revelations we've heard. So why is the NDC boycotting it?
The NDC, principally, when this matter came, we petitioned the IGP. And we felt that we have sufficient information to have triggered off an immediate reaction from the security agencies in terms of, immediate arrest of some of these people. Because this was something that was done in the open ground, thanks to the media. There was enough media coverage to the extent that people who were perpetrating this violence could easily be identified and dealt with. So we felt that some instant action from the police was required so that people who are culpable will face the full rigors of the law and then the necessary, punitive actions are taken. We were mindful of the fact that the history of this country is replete with commissions of inquiry, and sometimes in the famous Ghana at 50 commission and all those things, they say they have the commission of inquiry has the same level of authority of the High Court, okay? And so when the commission of inquiry does the investigation and then a report is issued on it, you cannot go and then prosecute people who have gone through this. We thought that those who have perpetrated this crime ought to have been prosecuted, be brought to book and prosecuted. And that is the demand that we're making on the state security agencies, that look, these are, you have a bizarre situation where we went to the IGP's office and we asked the IGP whether he knew the masked men. And he said he didn't know them. And I said, how can they be in police vehicles and then move pari passu with the police? I mean, most of the footages you show that police were moving hand in hand with them. These are masked people.
And the vehicle was branded in police.
Branded police. Masked people, fully armed, assault rifle, moving with the police. The IGP says, I did not know where they came from. I mean, that really was very alarming. And the Director General of the Ghana Police Service, I think it is your network, which also interviewed him. And he said he didn't know where they were coming from. And so, if the police didn't know where the people were coming from, they were holding assault rifle and they were attacking people, we should be there for them to kill them. And at the end of the day, people say that we didn't know where
So the commission, why did you, with all the positive that you talked about?
So our decision was that we were not against the setting up of the commission, but we felt that prosecution should take place whilst the commission also does their work.
Yeah, but you boycotted the commission.
Indeed, we have subsequently issued statements to the effect that victims of the party
can go,
who suffered from this assault, are free to go to the, and then, our parliamentary candidate was there this morning. So we have at least...
Have you changed your position then? Because their party said you boycotting it.
Well, so as a party going in a corporate image and body as a party there, we have decided that we are not going that way.
So but if you are invited, you embody that corporate. If you are invited by the commission, you won't go?
Well, the General Secretary was invited and he has written to them.
He's going to go?
No, he has written to them that he's not coming, because in the first place, he as an individual.
And you support that?
Yes, he as an individual.
No, but
he has been invited. No, I'm saying that he has been invited as a material witness.
I was invited yesterday. I'm sure you saw. I was described as a material witness.
And I'm saying that
I went.
The General Secretary was not in the country when the election was held.
Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo,
he has written to them, please.
In this case, I'm just like the General Secretary.
I'm saying that the General Secretary has been invited in his capacity, and he has written to them. He has not disregarded them.
He says he has
written to them that if it's about a material witness, he was not in the country when the exercise took place.
I am just like him. I got an invitation to appear before the commission, and I was described as a material witness. I wasn't there, but I went.
But your network was there, and you coordinated.
Your party was there. Your party was there, same as mine.
Well, he has indicated that if he's subpoenaed to go, he will go.
Yeah, but the first instance, he says no. He was standing it out.
I am saying that.
And I'm asking whether you support that position.
That is his decision.
You would have taken the same position if you were in this position.
He was invited in his personal capacity, and he has written
as a general secretary of the party.
They wrote to him as a secretary.
As a general secretary.
And then he has written back to them
that he will not go.
That he was not in the country. Yeah. So if he was being called as a material witness, then
But
then
that
they are
is an
targeting the wrong person.
articulation of the corporate
Well,
body's position.
let's leave that one aside. The
Isn't that important?
party has subsequently issued a statement, and for me, it shows a certain shift. That look, our members who suffered.
So the initial
Our
position
members-
was that nobody should go.
Yeah,
But you shifted. What
Yeah.
accounted for the shift?
I'm saying that we believe that victims have the right to go and tell their story.
But that was your initial position. So what changed?
Well, that's the decision that we took.
But what changed? What led to that subsequent decision?
It means that we felt that the victims ought to be given the opportunity to go and tell their story.
You didn't feel that, oh, the commission may be useful at all in the end.
Well, at the end of the day, whatever they are doing, I think will be useful to the country.
You think or you know it will be useful?
I think because we are waiting for them to end. And from the processes, I think they are doing a
Do
good
you
job.
trust that the commission will do work that benefits this country's interest generally and not anybody's interest?
Well,
Knowing
that-
what you now know of what the work you've done in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I hope so.
And the things that we've heard that we'll never have heard without this commission.
Well, I think it's a good thing that we are hearing all what we are hearing.
Because of the commission. So
Well,
you endorse it.
That is why I'm
You
saying
endorse
that,
the commission's
That's why I'm
work.
saying that the fact that we have asked our people, including the sitting member of parliament who was assaulted, to appear before the commission, should tell you that we have realized that they are doing some good work.
Useful. You've realized that you're doing some good work, and yet you haven't convinced your general secretary to go.
I'm saying that the general secretary has written to explain
Why
that
he won't go?
he was not in the country to be used as a person of material evidence. So if it is taken further legally,
But why should we get there? Why should the commission? Listen, I wasn't there. I like you. I send people there, like you send your monitors there. I just assign people. I was home monitoring, calling people, just like you do, like in an operation room. I was called. I went. They asked me questions about my experience in covering less than 15 years. I shared what I knew, and I left. Why can't he do
well,
that?
let's respect his decision, and I also respect your decision. I think we can move on.
Let me ask you then, because I get that. But Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, if you get the invitation, will you go?
When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it.
You should know by now if you will go or not, because I'm pretty certain it might come one time or the other. If you get that invitation, will you go?
You don't preempt what you don't know.
If you, it's a if. If you get it today, will you go?
And I'm saying that when we get to that bridge, we'll cross
So
it.
you haven't made a decision yet if it comes whether you go
Because
or not.
I've not been invited.
You haven't been invited. But if you are, you will go or not?
Well, I represent a body, corporate, and the decision of that body, corporate, I have to respect it.
Which
And
is...
so if the party takes a decision, say the national chairman should go, I respect that decision.
But you are the chairman. And just when we were talking about Yawa, so you said you're a leader. You can put the party
Well,
in
there
a
are-
room and
there
say,
are- there
can
are-
we
There
reconsider?
are matters like Ayawasu was forgone, which happened on a spur of the moment. The exigencies of the situation demanded that some decision is taken within a certain time frame. When decisions like this come, well, the party reviews its position always. Anytime that we take a decision and there's a need for us to review, we are human beings. We are rational human beings. We review the decisions, we review the situation, and we don't cast our decisions in stones
Will the party review the decision?
when it becomes necessary to review. We have reviewed once because initially
You said it.
the decision was not to go.
Yeah.
Then we reviewed the decision and said that victims should go. And so at least it should tell you that as a rational body, anytime that matters come, you see, and the time and events dictates decisions that are taken at every point in time.
As Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, are you in favor of a party reconsidering the decision?
Well, it hasn't come to the table for discussion. When it comes,
Personally,
party will
you have a person. If the people come in the room and they have to vote on this matter, would you vote for a reconsideration of it?
When we get there, I'll make my position clear on it.
But would you think between now and the time they finish, it's likely that you get your people in a room to at least consider if the party should change its position?
The process is ongoing. The party itself is monitoring.
Okay.
Our legal team has been activated.
Okay.
The legal team is watching. As and when there are issues that borders on legality, we rely on the expert advice of our legal team. We have a council of elders that we consult anytime issues like this come. That is why I'm saying that matters like this are not taken, decisions are not taken on the spur of the moment. They are dissected. They
Is
are
it fair to
discussed.
say that this decision is not fixed in stone?
I have told you that no party decision is cast in stone. No party decision.
It's cast in stone.
Because you see, circumstances determine
Yeah.
decisions that we
Have you
take.
seen enough to, from the commission's way to say maybe yes, it's time to reconsider?
Well, unfortunately, I have not been following critically the sittings of the commission. You know that we have a lot of challenges. We are running around. I mean, if I tell you how many regions and how many constituencies and how many events that I have attended from Saturday till yesterday, you'll be amazed, and you ask me where am I getting the strength to do all these things. So we are doing so many things at a time. And so I have not fully followed what is happening. I get snippets when I get home very late and watch and read and a few. But there are people who have been mandated and who have the legal eyes and other things to advise us. So,
Happy with the work you've heard, at least the ones you've read and managed to follow? Happy with the work so far they've done, the commission?
well, I think that they are doing a very good job.
Okay. That's Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll talk about the incident in Kumasi. What lessons is it teaching the party? But also the process and how they're assisting specifically the police to get to the heart of what happened in Kumasi. And then we'll end by talking about a campaign that we started at Multimedia today. Disband party militias now. Stay with us on PM Express. You are still on PM Express tonight, and we are live from the NDC headquarters, a party that has a flurry of activity right now because they have a party primary coming up on Saturday, and obviously there is a lot happening in Kumasi that the party has been forced to deal with. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, thankfully, was there in Kumasi when the incident happened. Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo, you were part of that meeting when you heard the gunshots.
Yes.
In that instant, were you wondering what was going through your head when you heard gunshots
Well,
very close to you?
First of all, let me say that our decision to move to Kumasi was predicated on some intelligence that we have picked as we prepare towards the primaries election on Saturday. And so myself and the General Secretary and one of the Deputy General Secretaries, Barbara Sewasama, who hails from Ashanti region. I mean, that's why we decided that going to Ashanti region, she should be part of the team to go there. We had arranged with the regional party executives to go and give them some briefing on some of the issues that we have picked up, especially with regard to security, before, during, and after the primaries in Ashanti region. And the information that we're picking was that we needed to brief them and make them aware of some of the schemes that are being allegedly plotted to create confusion. And ever since I was Westward gone, there has been this talks and this rumor about finding ways of equalizing, let something also happen in NDC, and let's some violence break out somewhere, and let's equalize, and let's say the violence is everywhere. We're hearing all this things. So we have been on the alert. We've been talking to our people. We've been asking them to be on the lookout for any adjoint provocateurs who will come and create some situation that will lead to violence in order to hang the dog and give it a bad name and so on and so forth. And we realized that consistently it was pointing to Ashanti region. And so we had to abandon all the things that we were doing and left Sunday to Kumasi. Earlier in the day, in the morning, the General Secretary and the Deputy General Secretary had gone to some media houses, TV stations and others to announce our presence and to let them know that these are the reasons why we are there. So once they were on air and they had announced that we are in Kumasi and will be going to the party office, the general euphoria is that when leading members of the party are in a region like this, everybody wants to come and catch a glimpse and exchange pleasantries and all those things. So when we got to the Ashanti Regional office of the NDC. There were quite a sizable number of people there. Some of the people had been invited by us as regional executives, and notable people, for instance, Ambassador Ohine Jekun, and Council of Elder member of the party there had been invited, Dr. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, the former regional minister, Frifaya Mwaponko, Yamin, Broja Jemfi, and some other people had been invited alongside the regional executive. So we had scheduled to have the meeting in two, separate forms. The first one was to receive some briefing from the regional executives and then be able to let them know why we are there, and then why we have decided to invite some particular group of people to come so that they may be part of a general briefing, and then planning the deployment of our people on the election day in all the constituencies for monitoring purposes and others. We were in the middle of the meeting when we heard this gunshot. I mean, when we heard it, we actually didn't know anything was happening outside because we were all held up inside there. And the General Secretary had finished his briefing, and I was in the process of giving them the briefing when somebody came and said that, look, there are gunshots there, and that the situation there is getting out of hand. So immediately, the General Secretary asked the regional chairman to call the regional police commander and tell him that something is happening on the premises of the party regional office, so the police must move in. Just about 5 minutes later, because when matters like this come, there are certain security instructions and protocols that you have to.
So when a gunshot happened, you rushed out of the meeting?
No, I'm saying that the first thing is to take some security precautions, and then got our people to move out there to see. I think it took place so rapidly that within a matter of 5 minutes, what has happened had happened, and then immediately, because people were injured, they carried the two
the
injured.
instinct is save life.
The injured people, the instinct are let's save their lives. So they put them in pickups and then ride them to Confanoche Hospital. So when we moved out, the place had been dispersed because once there are gunshots
people were running
and people were running for cover. And so we decided that the first thing to do was to move to the hospital, because when you get emergency cases like this and you go to the hospital, either they are asking for some deposit, they are asking for blood donation.
But when you came out of the meeting, did you meet the motor riding guys?
No. When we came out of the meeting, everybody had dispersed. Okay. That is why anybody who says that he was part of the meeting and can give you an account of what happened in the meeting will not be
or what happened outside.
Outside that is why I find it very, very strange that the regional secretary who was with us in the meeting, who was recording proceedings of the meeting, is recorded to have said that he saw the people and can mention names and others. I have my doubt about the authenticity of that video.
He's denied that it's his voice. I spoke to him yesterday.
Because I would have been pretty surprised if he had said that, because we were all inside. And when we got up, there was nobody there. All what we did was to move to the Confanoche Teaching Hospital. And I think even our movement there was misreported. When we arrived there, they say Ofosu-Ampofo had been rushed to the hospital as if I was a victim of the gunshot. But thankfully enough, I wasn't a victim of the gunshot. But we went there in our attempt to help save life. Unfortunately, when we got to the hospital and went to the place one of the guys had been sent to, the medical authorities pronounced him dead on arrival.
Yeah. The police say the people who did this are members of the Hawks. The Hawks are members of your NDC party group that you formed, and the party is armed.
First of all, let me say that I was very surprised at the hasty announcement by the police.
No, eyewitnesses at the scene, because we were there shortly.
You
made the same point. I'm just wondering that
you are making an assertion that the police had made a statement.
True.
In the first place, when the matter came up, the first statement we released was that this is a purely criminal matter, and that the party is not going to shield anybody, because you see, the narratives are different. And the police,
what is the alternative?
I'm saying that the fact that people came in on motorbikes, shot at people, fled on their motorbikes and went away. It raised a number of
But these people were identified.
number of conspiracies.
These people
I am
were
saying that
identified
as
on
at the
motorbikes. They were not
time,
marked.
as at the time that we came there, we were even asking whether they
No,
knew.
no, I'm not talking about you. The eyewitnesses, party activists and supporters on the premises. As you said, people who heard you and wanted to come and meet you.
That is
Saw
why.
them.
That
And
is,
they said they knew these
that
guys
is
as
why
thugs.
whatever information that they have, they ought to give to the police.
Which is
And
why I
not
get the
us.
police is acting on based on.
And I'm saying that in the first place, let me say that when we went there, we did not go to meet any groups called Hawk.
And you were in a meeting, so you wouldn't know what happened in
I'm
the
telling you that the party as an NDC party, we do not have any group identified by the party.
Yesterday we spoke to Yamin, who says these are people, these are members of the party, and he's proud to associate with them.
Well, I'm saying that the party doesn't recognize any structure of the party.
I'm telling you, you said you invited Yamin to your meeting. That man,
he was not at the meeting.
Well, you said you invited him.
I'm saying that he was one of the people
you invited
who had been invited.
True. And I'm saying that he said to us yesterday that members of the Hawks are members of the NDC. You don't deny that, do you?
Let me give you some information that will let you know why he was invited into the meeting. He had contested election as a regional chairman, has lost the election, and some development in the region shows that after the election, there hasn't been peaceful coexistence between his faction and the chairman's faction. That is the reason why we said, in order to resolve this problem, let's see the protagonists, who are at loggerheads with each other, and call them and try to iron out these differences so that it does not undermine the Saturday's election that we're going to organize. And so the meeting had nothing to do with any Hawk groups or any security.
But I'm just telling you that this man, who used to be your former deputy sports minister, who contested the position and lost, has said to us yesterday that the Hawks are members of your party and he's proud to associate with them.
And I am saying that they could be members of the party, but I'm saying that the party itself has not identified any group of people as structure, as part of the.
So what do you say to him? You say he is proud. That's a Hawk. The Hawk group is there. They're members, and he's proud to associate.
Well,
let
me say that this matter is being reviewed, and this morning at the Council of Elders level, some decisions are being taken. Some investigation will be conducted alongside what the police are doing. As a party, we also need to conduct our own internal investigation to find out. So I don't want to comment on some of these specific issues, but just to say that we did not...
You don't know any group called the Hawks in your party?
I'm saying that the party has no structure.
You have never heard of the Hawks as members of your party?
No, some people will be party members. In fact, when we go to at the national level here, we have our internal security system at the national level here. At the regional level, they have the internal security.
So in Ashanti region, the Hawks is a formal part of your party?
It's not formal part of our party.
But Yamin says so.
Yamin is not the party. You're speaking to the party chairman. Are you contradicting me?
No, I'm just telling you what Yamin says.
So listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yamin does not represent the party. I'm the national chairman of the party. And I'm telling you that as a party, we don't have any structure of the party called the Hawks. People can have their own private security arrangements.
They can?
I'm saying that people can have...
They can?
Listen to me very carefully.
I'm just clarifying.
What I'm saying is that if somebody says that he's associated with a group, and that group is not a main structure of the party, I cannot recognize the group as a main structure of the party. So if he says that these are my people, they are party members and I know them, well, at the appropriate time, I think the party, in our own internal investigation, we also want to find out some answers to, elicit some answers to questions that we will ask these people. But
of these people?
Yeah, for the purpose of this interview, I want to place on record that the party itself as a party have not formed any vigilante group.
No one.
Associate, not even one.
Azoka boys.
Not even one. But you know, before even 2016 election, we issued a statement and said that for 2016 election, we don't want anybody to deploy any group of people in any polling stations purporting to be security of the party, and that security of the election will be placed in the hands of the national security agencies. As we go into the election on Saturday, we have also issued a statement. We have spoken with the police, and we have said that the police should deploy their security agencies to take care of the elections, and that we are not deploying any. We have our own internal security systems. I mean, we have distinguished security capos like Naval Captain Asasi Jima, Commodore Tibobi, and others who have distinguished themselves, who assist the party when it comes to, at the National Congress, for instance, we had our own internal party security working in tandem with the state security agencies to ensure that there is peace. Because, for instance, if you bring national security officers or bring police officers and the national chairman is entering into a hall and they don't know him and they say we won't allow him to go, it takes the party security personnel to say that, oh, this person coming is our national chairman or a general secretary or a regional chairman for northern region or central region, allow him to come. That is why when we do this arrangement, we try to intertwine the national security with our own party internal security, which is a very disciplined, which has a command and control structure, very, very disciplined group. And they have been working all over these years without any problem.
My question on this, Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo, I'm asking this because you have a track record of being possibly a very level-headed politician. You're not one of those, because I've listened to you, you're not one of those who will take a position just because somebody says you should. And so I ask, knowing that, I ask, when Yamin and Co, and this is not the first time they're parading this idea of hawks, they adore them, the pictures of them proudly leading them at party events, elections. We saw that. What did you do about it? Since you say he cannot do this, when I asked the question, he can, you backtracked. He can't do this, obviously we know he can. I put it to you, and there's no way you can fight this. That nobody can have a private security in Ghana.
Yes, I've said that.
Yes, and I'm saying to you, when he did and outdoor the hawks, and you know that can happen, what did you do about it, Mr. Chairman?
The party has issued internal memos, and in our meetings, as a result of some of these developments, for the first time in the history of the party, we have created a new directorate, which was approved by NEC last week. And that is the Security and Intelligence Directorate, because we believe that party security ought to be coordinated at the highest level from the party office. And so this is a response to all this hullabaloo about people taking the laws into their own hands and trying to do things on their own. We said that, look, the time has come. You cannot go into any major elections like 2020 without an internal, well-coordinated internal security structure. But it has been on ad hoc basis. And so when time is coming for National Congress, we call a team, they come, and then after that, they are disbanded and another major program. So now let's create a directorate so that we have a director responsible for security and intelligence. And then through that directorate, party policy positions on all these matters will be fashioned out to the National Executive Committee for approval. And so it is our response, the party response to all these issues about vigilantism and people trying to do things on their own without recourse to party structures and others. That has led us to where we are now. So when we say, what is our response? This is a very positive response that we have. We have reacted, and we believe that with the approval of NEC, of this new directorate, and very, very, very soon.
That is an administrative attempt.
No, it is not only administrative, it's a political decision.
I get it.
It's a political decision.
My question is, if Mr. Yamin adored the hawks, and you know that's not right, and he was doing it, he claims in the name of your party, he was using your image to do something that you condemn. I mean, radically, what happened to him? The party until now, I haven't had a party person as vehemently denounce the hawks as you've done in this interview today and what he's done. Why didn't this happen before? And say you're on your own, mister.
Well, I think that
I read your constitution. Your party constitution cannot bring the name of your party into disrepute. You disagree that what he did brought your party's name into disrepute?
Well, I'm saying that it is the combination of all this that has led us to where we are today. And I told
you agree that you haven't done enough about this problem?
And I told you that these matters are handled on party policy basis. So we don't take ad hoc decisions. Yeah. A party like the NDC organizes itself
But you've been too slow, don't agree?
On a very structured...
such a very... Now, one person is dead.
No, I am saying that
one person is dead. Anda is struggling for his life.
See, we took office barely about less than 3 months ago. And a lot has been done to ensure that we put certain structures in place. It is most unfortunate this happened because there are so many things that are being done behind the scenes to ensure that some of these issues are contained until proper structures are put in place to ensure that the right...
So specifically, Mr. Ofosu, what is going to happen now? We are at a juncture, and I'm speaking now not as a journalist, but as somebody concerned, and I know you are, about the problems, because you've complained about Yawaso. And some say you've lost the moral authority in the last 48 hours to ever complain again about this particular problem.
You see, we will continue to complain about it. What is something that we all feel is not good for the body politics of this country. We all together. Yesterday, I was in a discussion with some top security capos in government, thinking about all this. We are all trying to see where will be the converging point, what is good for this country as our democracy moves forward. So what happened in Kumasi? Because it is under investigation, I want to be very careful the way we handle it. Because you see, if it is about somebody moving into the place, there are a lot of conspiracies, theories that are being propounded. That either some people wanted to score equalization, so let us do something in NDC circles and also try to
strip you of the moral authority.
So we have the moral authority. Today, I stand here with all the moral authority because in Kumasi, we did not mince any words by coming out to denounce what has happened and to ask the police to go ahead and prosecute, investigate and prosecute. Other parties haven't been able to do that. Other parties have gone to stand by their vigilante groups and has indicated that they are part and parcel of our, we are not going to disband them and we are going to encourage them. We as NDC, our General Secretary stood his ground and said that. So we are standing on higher moral authority.
You said you used the word, and I'm coming to a campaign that we are running and civil society is joining in. I think at this moment, the politicians like yourself, you have no choice than to join that bandwagon, which is disband. Now we are not calling it vigilantism. It's too gentrified. It's such a nice word because vigilantism is actually a positive thing that people think they do to protect society when state institutions fail.
No.
That's what vigilantism is.
No, I think when
the strict definition of vigilantism
definition of vigilantism are people who take the law into their own hands and act against state authority.
Let me assist you. That is why we now call it party militias.
So you can't call it. You can't redefine vigilantism.
No.
Let me tell you some interesting thing. I am writing a thesis on political vigilantism and its effect on our democratic governance.
Fantastic.
At my PhD level at GIMPA, and they know I've done presentations, and then so when we talk about vigilance, it's about people who have taken the law into their own hands and say that we are turning law and order upside down.
I get your point. I get where you're coming from.
So we are not looking at vigilantism from any positive
I agree with
direction.
you. But I'll come into the
I also want us to hasten slowly.
In what?
By going and describing people as party militia.
And then,
I think that
party militias.
I think that
they're armed.
I think that, you know.
How would you describe the guys?
For instance,
will you describe the guys at the Yawaso by-election?
For instance,
how will I describe them?
For instance, all the groups that congregated in front of the NDC office, if they were armed, the narrative would have been different.
That's true.
Listen, the narrative, somebody armed himself, move into their midst, shot at them, and then run away. And you are saying that these are people who are armed.
Yeah, but those who
if they were armed, really, they would not have been there for somebody to use pistols to come and kill people.
You disagree with the description party militias?
Well, I think that we should hasten slowly because I don't think that we have gotten to.
No, because we no longer want to make it an attractive proposition.
Well, whatever it is,
you see your reaction to party militias. It tells you how.
You see, whatever it is,
dangerous it sounds, and it actually is.
Whatever it is, I as an individual, I want to say that I will never encourage vigilantism or
militias or whatever you call it.
See, Professor Kofi Awonor, may he so rest in peace, never knew that an internal insurgency in Nairobi, Kenya, will be where he will meet his untimely death. What happened in Kumasi could have happened to any of us. If that person who came with a premeditated, act to come and kill, it could have been me. It could have been anybody.
Yeah.
So we need to collectively stand up against this, development, which for me is not good for the body politics of this country. We have gone through our democratic dispensation since 1992 till date. But you see, we must all reflect and ask ourselves, why is it happening this way? And let us be very truthful to ourselves. We shouldn't behave like ostriches. There are people who are living in communities where young men got up and joined other forces, Delta forces, invisible forces, and others. And they see the immediate economic benefit and the changes in their lifestyle and the vehicles, their properties they are acquiring. If we are not careful, the indication is that if you join these groups and you are able to play to the rules of their games, there is financial and material reward that comes out of it. So people live in community and say, hey, this person went and joined this 3 days, just after 1 year, look at what is happening. That is what we politicians collectively must resolve to avoid, because nobody knows who the next victim will be. I believe that the time has come for us as a political class to say that this development is not good for the future of this country. As a democratic party, as a people who believe in the rule of law and who believe in constitutionalism and who believe that the democracy is the order of the day if we want to develop our country. And you see, this should start from the highest level. And I said that when pressure was being brought to bear on His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo to disband this militia, including a call by the Otumfuo himself, when these invisible Delta forces and others attack open court, attack judges, they attack regional coordinating council, the seat of the head of the regional security chairman in the region, and they succeeded in doing all these things. It was eroding gradually the powers of the security architecture that we have in this country. And so we were saying that let us be on the watch out. And then you have people who will come, sit in open and identify themselves and say, no, nobody dare touches them. And when it happens, we will go and we'll provide them with money, we'll bail them out, we'll do this. You see, we thought that we were doing it for ourselves. Yeah. Gradually,
it's come full circle.
It has come full circle to hunt us.
Interview,
so my position is that as a party, we, in the light of all this development, we'll be doing introspection, we'll be looking at the way forward, and we'll be coming out of new directives to deal with some of these decisions. But on the national scale, I will support any national call to deal with this situation once and for all. But
describe the situation for me. Just use the term. Because there's a campaign happening.
Let me just say, you see, my worry is that if you looked at what happened in Ayaso, West Wuogon, the narratives that are coming, and the fact that it does appear that some of these vigilante groups and others have found themselves being entrenched into the security systems, then it means that in moving forward, we need to look at holistically purging our security services of some of these elements who will tend to undermine the whole security infrastructure that we have in this country.
So, Mr. Ampofo, my final question is, we are at a critical juncture. Nobody can deny that. What is the commitment of the NDC under your leadership to fixing this party militia political vigilante problem, which is threatening to eat us all up?
Well, as I was saying earlier on, my fear is that over the period of time, for the past 2 years, if you do your investigation, you realize that a number of them have been integrated into the national security architecture without any formal training. And so it has diluted the professionalism of our security agencies. And if we want to deal with the matter, then we must look at it holistically. How do we purge the security agencies of this element and ensure that the professional ones can do their work professionally? The second thing also is that with all this development, I think that it should also inform the Electoral Commission, because you see, when we are going to elections like this, there is a special elections committee that is set up and normally under the police command, but they take instruction from the Electoral Commission. I was very disappointed when the commissioner appeared before the commission, and before then organized press conferences and even alluded to the fact that this was a very peaceful election.
She actually changed her position somewhere when she
as for us, she met us, she took that position, and I said that even if the violence did not occur at polling stations, that violence occurred in our West Wagon, and that West Wagon was an enclave which the Electoral Commission was carrying out the activity on that day, so you cannot run away from it. And again, you must also be mindful of the fact that if you go into an election in a city, a metropolis like Accra, and you have less than 20% turnout, then I tend to question her definition of success. Because you see, when election is free, fair and transparent, it is free because people can walk out of their houses to go and freely exercise their franchise without let or hindrance. If intimidation prevents people from coming out, then you cannot describe such an election as free and transparent. If the parliamentary candidate himself was unable to move out of his house to go and vote because he felt that he values human life more than the seat that he was looking for, then of course he's your major stakeholder on an election day. And then you cannot then go and so for me the critical issues that our funding agencies and development partners and others should all be interested in is how do we approach 2020 in the light of this with some reforms in our security approach to elections. It is very critical that we look at this. And then as political parties, the time has come for us to have a heart-to-heart discussion about the way forward. Do we think this is the way we should go forward after 25 years or so of democratic experimentation, which has been praised as...
Are you willing to work with your other colleagues in the other parties on this?
We have always worked together.
But going for, at this moment...
Let me give you just one example.
I know. Because of time, we have to wrap up. Going forward.
We as a party, we are prepared to sit around the table with all other political parties to discuss open, transparent manner these issues that are gradually eating this country up. Because if we do not apply ourselves together and come together to fight against this menace, we'll be laughing at the wrong side of our mouths. And nobody knows whom the next victim will be. Because we need to intertwine this with all the other security breaches that are going on. You yourself, I believe that now when, as a frontline journalist, when you close and you are going home, you'll be looking left, right, and center. When you see anybody following you, either you run to the next police station.
Whether I have fuel in my car or not, I roll up my glass.
You see? And so it means that we are all living dangerously. Let us work together as a people with the determination to end this canker.
If push, well, the word has been used as this, in fact, you even use it, disband. Is a party willing to disband these groups that individuals may have, or may be affiliated to the party? I'm choosing my words carefully. Individuals may have, or may be affiliated to the party.
First and foremost, let me say that as a party, we are not going to endorse officially vigilante groups. We are going to investigate this matter, and we are going to rather strengthen our internal party security structure. We are going to task the new director for security and intelligence who will be appointed to assist us to develop a policy document that will guide us as how to handle internal party security structures as we go into 2020. But our appeal is that we must be sincere in this approach, because it is lack of sincerity and the fact that people put their ears on the ground and they realize that opponents are doing this, that, and then people say that, look, maybe for one is for armed. What happened to us in Ayawaso West Wogon, even though some people go out and say that our decisions show weakness, we believe that doesn't show weakness. It shows that we put life ahead of our parochial
and please for me in 30 seconds. To those individuals in your party who may be controlling some of these groups, vigilantes or militias, choose what you call it, and who claim to be affiliated with you, what do you tell them?
The party will be doing serious engagement. And as I indicated to you, we just ended a meeting with our Council of Elders. A number of steps have been taken. I don't think that for now it's appropriate for the public, but the party will take the necessary steps.
Suffice to say, will it end in a disbandment of these groups? Whatever decision you took, will the end game be?
Well, the party will be working towards making sure that we discourage as much as possible people from engaging in vigilantism.
And those that exist already. What do you do?
And I've told you that the party hasn't officially recognized any group.
But that's why I use the words, those who claim they are affiliated and those individuals in your party who...
The party is taking steps to deal with those matters decisively.
Okay. That's the national chairman of the NDC. I'm grateful that you joined us.
Thank you very much.
Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo. My name is Evans Mens. Enjoy the rest of it. And don't forget, the campaign is hashtag disband the party militias now.